few days ago, Anthropic asked the whole world for a way to slow down an AI. And on top of that, let's be real, a few days ago, US government demanded from Anthropic to remove Fable 5 from non-US citizens. Now, this week, OpenAI published their big plan for the future and asked for basically the exact same thing. And both of these companies are also the fastest companies that are growing, and both of them are taking a step forward, going public, and are looking for some kind of guardrails. So the companies, both OpenAI and Anthropic, are kind of saying, hey, world, we need to slow down and we need to find a way that would slow us down. And my thoughts are, what the fuck is going on? Because that's what I want to go into today. And let me be straight with you first. I use both platforms. I use ChatGPT, and I've used it probably much longer than Anthropic's Claude. But I don't have any shares. I don't have any stocks. I'm not on a payroll. This video is not sponsored by them. So effectively, I have no connections with them. I'm just giving my opinion on the AI since I've been deep in it for the past 4 or 5 years now. I'm not here to defend any of these companies. I'm kind of here to figure out what this actually means for you and me. On June 8th, OpenAI put a piece on their blog built to benefit everyone, our plan, and it's Sam Altman's and its chief scientists laying out their vision around their mission, how they want to move AGI going forward and how they want to make it to benefit the whole humanity. But on top of that, they also on the same day announced that they are planning to go public. And maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, but let's see. And the plan lays out three goals, and one of them is to build an AI automated researcher that will be kind of maybe even open source, an AI that does a lot of the AI research itself, which they predict will probably be live somewhere in March 2028. Their goal is the second goal is to accelerate the economy and share the gains, giving every single person on earth their own personal AGI. And they say things I agree with, that they don't want to automate everything, and they don't think the power should be concentrated in a few companies. So probably they're looking to kind of open source some of this stuff. And the third thing is they are calling for international creation of international group that could lead the world and take the actions, including slowing down frontier development when needed. And here is what's interesting. A few days before OpenAI's piece, Anthropic put out their own report asking for exactly the same thing, a verifiable way to slow down or pause AI development if ever gets too scary. So you got this whole spectrum. On one end, the two leading AI labs, the people in the weeds every day who understand this better than anyone, are basically saying we are moving too fast and the AI models are getting so powerful, which I think we could have seen already right now with Fable 5. I used it for a few days and it's really, really amazing. And on YouTube, there are multiple videos popping up, how people are building games and comparing them to Opus 4.8 or some other OpenAI models. And it's really, really looking amazing. And then the ban from US government on those models. So it's kind of there. We are probably hitting that line that should not be crossed. And I think that they are a little bit worried, but I also do think that they are trying to kind of find a good way to be kind of in people's hearts because they do plan to go public this year and they're probably looking to make billions. So that's probably going to be there. And on the other end, we have a ton of regular people who think the AI is a funny tool that makes images or fancy Google searches that you can prompt to generate AI slop, and who don't understand the AI in full, that have barely touched it. They have no idea what it can actually do. And all of them think it's a bad thing. And the gap between the people building this and the people who have to live through the whole paradigm shift is kind of enormous. And I don't understand really how the gap got so wide, because the brand of AI right now is, and based on this, what's actually happening is there is a really, really big pushback on the AI globally. And people who start talking about AI, they immediately get like, no, that's not going to work, that's not good, etc. So there is a lot of pushback even when I talk with the people about AI, and even some of my developers in my company are pushing back even on an analysis of the AI. They don't like when we analyze, for example, some reports with an AI, they kind of push back, but the AI is actually giving the real data and solving real problems, especially on the development side. And the way I think about it is AI is an amplifier. It gives you a superpowers if you use it in a right way. And on its own, it in the hands, it has no good, it has no bad intentions. It just does what you point it to and help you do it faster. And one AI may replace 10, 20 people right now if you know how to use it. So the how I see an AI is definitely a way or a thing that gives you some kind of superpowers. And I say this because I've been in development for the past 25, 26 years, and building stuff took a lot of time. Building a website or landing pages or mobile apps, it took months to build and sometimes even years. So some of the projects that we worked on took years to build and are still being built today, even within AI, so after 10 years. And what AI is essentially giving you is ability to get to the product extremely fast. Depending on how you use it, it will be either for a good intention or for the bad intention. So it's your choice how you want to use it. And the people are the ones who need to make choice what they want to do. But most of the models right now are actually starting to have quite a lot of guardrails, which we have seen with the Fable 5, that is prevented to do security searches through the code and everything, because they saw that Mythos type of models could penetrate very secure systems. So why would the two companies with the most gain from going fast both turn around and say, let's slow down? OpenAI actually tells us, and the reason for international group in their words is especially because the incentives around commercial and national competition are hard to escape. And in some way, they want to build an organization that will control both Anthropic, OpenAI, Alibaba, the DeepSeek department, who will actually come in and have real access to the AI models, so they can kind of stop the development or training of more advanced models if it comes to that. And what they are essentially doing, they are inviting more regulations into their own industry, right as they are both going to raise money from public investors who just want growth. And that's costly for them to ask for, because it might reduce the value of those companies. So the people building what they themselves call the most powerful tech ever just told us on the record that they won't slow down, but because of the environment of investors and everything, they are unable to do it on their own because of the financial incentives for the investors. Investors are pushing, they want to more and more faster, more models, everything better. And they need help in order to do that. And the next thing I started wondering is, could that be treaty or referee even an exit? I'm not the foreign policy guy, but I thought about what it would actually take. You need every country serious about AI and every country to agree, not just the US. You need China, Russia, and everybody needs to sign this kind of treaty, maybe like something like a nuclear control treaty that exists. And you need someone who can enforce all of the rules that are being planned to be added into this system if it's ever developed. And you need somebody who can enforce it, send in inspectors to actually verify everything and make sure that everything is up on the line. Now, you'd think that AI part would be almost impossible to track. It's just code, chips in a building, running a math or running some calculation, but it's actually the very opposite thing. And training the frontier models takes a huge visible footprint, tens of thousands of specialized chips in a single building, pulling as much power. Oh, with a city, they need like a nuclear plant to actually do it. And even China is starting to do data centers on the bottom of the sea in order to cool all those chips. And that's hard to hide. The construction, the power draw, the massive chip orders all leave the trail, and somebody needs to kind of track that. And those chips come from basically one supply chain on the entire planet, usually NVIDIA. So the chips are kind of uranium for the nuclear plants. And Anthropic has repeated multiple times that getting the chips is the real bottleneck at the current stage, since the RAM memory is already going sky high. There's a shortage of chips, shortage of, there's a quite chaos in the world. But the verification problem is probably solvable, even it's not trivial. And the real wall is an incentive, because even OpenAI said nobody in the lead like them, OpenAI or Anthropic, would actually be incentivized to slow down, because they are constantly making more and more money and they're committing more and more for chips. They are building new data centers. So they are looking to grow even more, and they want even more users coming into their system. There are many startups that are constantly getting funded in order to grow their services on top of OpenAI and Anthropic. So it's going to be really hard to find a way to incentivize them to slow down. And slow down only holds if breaking it costs you more than winning ever you could. So the real question isn't whether we could build a treaty for the verification system, it's how you actually flip the incentive.